2021 will always be a year remembered for wild and deadly weather and waves of COVID variants. But it was also the year hundreds of unmarked graves were discovered at former residential schools across the country, starting with Kamloops. CTV's Alyssa Thibault looks back at this new and painful chapter and how it unfolded in Canada's history.
Little dresses on crosses on the road into Kamloops, a city in BC's interior that ignited a national conversation of shocking secrets long buried. The news broke on May 27.
We begin with the heartbreaking discovery on the grounds of a former residential school in Kamloops.
The Kamloops Tarsik First Nation announcing the remains of 215 children had been found using ground-penetrating radar technology.
It was devastating. It was actually quite mind-boggling, and it brought some of us to tears.
The former Indian residential school was Canada's largest. It closed in 1978. Unmarked graves were long talked of, but never found. In the days that followed, survivors began telling their stories.
You hear clunk, 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 clunk up the stairs, and it's one of the security guards. And then you start hearing whimpers. And the whimpers are because here's the guy that molests people.
We were told if we didn't pray, we're going to go burn in hell.
That weekend, the beginnings of a poignant memorial began forming at the Vancouver Art Gallery, and flags were lowered as Canada faced the reality of our past.
These are the things that Canada is waking up to this week, and it's a difficult and hard awakening.
In the search for answers, many began to realize how little they knew about the lives and experiences of the students who'd gone to residential schools.
We have photographs and we have some sound recordings. My guess is that there's about 250 bankers' boxes in total of records.
In surviving archives, many children's deaths were never documented. Across the country, more unmarked graves were discovered, including 715 on the Cowessess First Nation in Saskatchewan.
We have something that we all have to address internally. The world is watching.
The Prime Minister eventually made it to Kamloops, nearly 3 weeks after intense criticism for declining an invitation to spend the country's first Truth and Reconciliation Day there, instead going to Tofino with his family.
As I said, I deeply regret not having been here to commemorate and to move forward with the Kamloops Tissuwakmuk.
There are ongoing calls for accountability.
We do want an apology, a public apology, not just for us, but for the world who also shared in those suffrages, holding the Catholic Church to account.
That still hasn't happened.
Seguo con dolore.
I've been following the news with pain, the Pope said in June. And in October, the Vatican said Pope Francis had agreed to visit Canada. A date still hasn't been set, but the work continues.
We seek to bring honor and dignity to children that were literally cast aside in unmarked burial sites.
The children Canada forgot. Alyssa Thibault, CTV News.